Today is the second lesson in our lesson on trigonometric word problems. What's a little bit different today is we are going to deal with two specific angles that are given a particular definition that you need to know so as to be able to set the right triangle up properly. Now, the first one is what's called the angle of elevation, and it's the angle that is formed between the horizontal and the line of sight when a tall object is being sighted. So in other words, you're looking up. Okay? The second one is the angle of depression. So that is the angle formed between the line of sight and the horizontal when an object beneath the viewer is sighted. So that means you're looking down. That's why those words are used. Looking up, you're elevated. Looking down, you're sad, you're depressed. So if you look at the first picture, here's the person, their line of sight is going down. That's the angle of depression. The key, that angle is outside the right triangle. The good news is the angle here right inside is equal to it because you have parallel lines cut by a transversal. Okay? In this one, your line of sight, you're looking up. This is your angle of elevation. You will notice that the angle of elevation and the angle of depression end up being the same number of degrees, even though they are located in different places. Okay? And when I get to an example, I'll give you a little bit more information on that. So, we have these word problems we're going to go through. A person is at sea. A person out at sea spots a light at the top of the lighthouse. So the person is here, okay, in some boat, looking up. So my angle of elevation is here. The lighthouse is 70 feet tall. I want to know how far that person is from the foot of it. So I have opposite, adjacent. So I'm using the tangent of 50 is equal to 70 over x. I cross multiply. I divide. Rounding to the nearest tenth, I get 58.7 as how far away they are. Okay. Next one, you have a helicopter. Let's extend the page. Obviously, our helicopter is up here. It's the best I'm going to do in drawing a helicopter. Height is 1,000 feet in the air. Height is always measured vertically. The stolen car is over here. Okay? It's not going to be straight underneath. The angle of elevation is 70. What is the direct distance from the helicopter to the car? That's the hypotenuse. That's the direct distance, B line. I've got opposite, hypotenuse, sine of 70 equals 1,000 over x. We cross multiply. Then we still need to divide. X is 1064.2. Okay? Moving on. An airplane pilot observes the angle of depression. So that means the pilot is here, obviously, looking down. So we draw that horizontal. And here is the 28 degrees. Now, we could put the 28 is outside the right triangle, which doesn't help us, but we also know that's 28. How do we know that? Well, we said alternate interior, but you also know that this is 62 degrees because this is a right angle, and then they have to add up to 90. Altitude is 900. That's altitude. Find the distance from the pilot to this observed point down here. That's the hypotenuse. So I, again, have the sine of 28 is equal to 900 over x. X sine 28 equals 900. Divide by sine of 28. And you get x to be 1917.0. Now, you could have used 62 and done cosine of 62 equals 900 over x. You will get the exact same answer, all decimal places included. Okay? All right, next. From a point 200 feet away, from the bottom of a flagpole, angle of elevation 74.2. How high is the pole here? So tan 74.2 is x over 200. A straight cross multiplying so that we get x to be 706.8. Okay? Continuing on to the next two. Go that far. A surveyor is standing 100 meters away from a 42-meter tall building. Here's my building. The surveyor is over here, 100 meters away, and I want the angle of elevation, so here. Opposite and adjacent, so tangent of x, 42 over 100, as we did yesterday. You're going right to your calculator, no cross multiplying to get 23 degrees. And then finally, I have a person in a hot air balloon. So the balloon is up top here. And since I have an angle of depression, it's out there. But I'm also going to put it in here. Or I also know that this is 48 degrees, so I can use either one. It's 250 is height. Height is always vertical. And it says I want to know the distance from the observer, who's on the ground, to the hot air balloon. So I want my hypotenuse. I've got two choices. Either sine of 42 is equal to 250 over x, or cosine of 48 equals 250 over x. No matter which one I choose, I will get the exact same answer if I do it correctly. I have to cross multiply and divide. So x is 373.6 feet. So the only difference today that from yesterday is we introduced the two specific angles, angle of depression and angle of elevation. You need to know where they are located when you are setting up and drawing your picture of your right triangle.